And a good afternoon to you, rugby fans. Welcome to Burnham Field. It is a National Intercollegiate Rugby Association D1 Championship matchup here at Dartmouth College. It is Dartmouth College, the Big Green, taking on the Crimson of Harvard University. I am John Broker, and I am joined by rugby expert analyst Joe Erasmus for this game. What a game we have coming up, Joe.
Well, it is the rubber match. We've seen these teams meet 2 times before in previous years in the final, and they've tied it 1-1. Who's going to come away in front?
It's going to be fantastic. Home team has tended to win. We'll see how that holds up. But we're going to look at the last time they played. They played during the regular season in a very tight one. We'll talk you through this game. Both teams showing a lot of effort here. You see this Dartmouth team just having a good run and putting down some tries. They were excellent throughout, but it came down to the wire.
It did come down to the wire. Both of these teams are exceptionally skilled. You see that in the back line. You saw how the Dartmouth forwards can get on the front foot, rumble, create continuity, keep that ball alive. But this game ultimately came down to the death. It came down to those Dartmouth forwards, and they got the better of Harvard just by that one try and eked out the win on October 12th.
Yeah, it was a 1-point victory there. Fantastic work for Dartmouth to come away with that one. You're going to see the try right here that won it. And we're going to step aside for a second. We're going to bring back the rematch of championship game right after this.
These Bulldogs are the top dogs. Harvard, an overtime winner. Crimson into the round of 32. National NCAA Women's Rugby Championship in the Big Green of Dartmouth. It's over. That will do it. The Brown Bears and the Lions walk off. And Cornell will play on Championship Monday.
As a trusted choice agency, the Richards Group has been committed to local communities for decades. We take the time to get to know our clients, their needs, and budget. We're independent, so we work for you, not an insurance company.
We use our expertise to design home, auto, and business coverage solutions at a competitive price.
In addition, our team provides consulting for employee benefits, human resources, retirement plans, and wealth management.
The Richards Group, protecting what you value most.
You just sit there all day, doing nothing, adding nothing.
Are you even listening to me right now?
It's like we don't even want the same things anymore.
Growth and expansion isn't going to pay for itself.
I think we need to see someone.
We need you for all of this.
Want to get more out of your money? Then make the move to Ledyard Bank, where you'll find a true banking partner that always puts your financial well-being first.
I feel like we've made real progress here.
Ledyard Bank. Advisors, partners, neighbors.
Growing your business isn't just one thing, it's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local CAT dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done, day after day. For a limited time at Milton CAT, get 0% for 60 months on select new CAT compact equipment.
We see the promises you make. Doing more than your fair share. Working twice as hard. Saving lives, changing lives. And your life's work deserves nothing less than a lifetime guarantee. You made a promise. So did we. TIAA's promise of a guaranteed retirement paycheck for life is a promise that pays off.
Anthem. The NYRA Division I Championship is set to get underway here at Burnham Field at Dartmouth College. National Intercollegiate Rugby Association Championship matchup. It is hometown Harvard versus Dartmouth. We're going to talk about how they got here. Dartmouth, perfect on the season, beat Brown in the semifinals on the way to get here. Harvard, a couple ties, a little different season, but a good game against Army West Point to bring them to this moment. Joey, talk about some players to watch on both of these teams?
Well, it first has to start with the electric danger women in the back three for both teams. On Harvard, it's Lennox London. She scored the first try in that semifinal against Army. It was Annie Henrich who was scoring that first try out of fullback for Dartmouth. Then in the forwards, Jara Emtaj Cave is a great line-out operator. Look for the set piece to be a big part of today's game. Just with the adverse conditions with the cold, the rain has slowed down. On the other side, Cindy Taulava can absolutely put Dartmouth on the front foot and give them great attacking platforms.
There you have it from the man himself, Joey Erasmus, telling you your referee is going to be Akira Doe for this matchup in the center of the field. He's going to be joined by Jeff Tancredi and Morgan Roberts Rinakama for this Division I championship matchup. Referee Akira Doe in center there, ready to get us underway with this championship game. Dartmouth is going to be kicking off wearing their green, the big green, running from left to right on your screen, and the Crimson of Harvard to receive this kick. Referee Doe gets us underway, and this championship matchup is on. Dartmouth on defense. Harvard inside their own 22. Mignoni, first-year player and quite an electric player, takes that one. And Harvard is forced to not get a lot of distance, Joey, on that first one. It's going to be a line out here for the big green.
Well, Abby Saban is definitely the strength of the kicking game for Dartmouth. And PK Vince knows that this is a strength of Dartmouth. This is an area of the game they can control. She just has to hold serve there and let their electric ball-in-hand attackers have their say, but has to be a little bit more clinical on the exits.
Maul coming off a successful lineup from the big green, but Harvard holding it tight there. They shear it off, and they work their way in a little further. Nothing wrong. They took it down themselves, so referee Doe says play on. We're underway. Early pressure coming from the big green. Getting their offense assembled. Little pass in the middle of the field. Big green looking to get going. Dartmouth has the ball still. Harvard on defense. Absolutely coming at these teams. Ball coming, ball away. Little inside pass. Not getting the purchase they want right now are the big green. The Crimson staying solid on defense. Any team coached by Mel Denham is going to take pride in that defense as the ball goes to ground. They're inside the 22, just making the baby steps, but getting it moving. Pale, the first-year number 8, puts in a little tip pass. They might have bought themselves a little room on the outside. Let's see where they go. They're coming to the left here. It's to the first-year player, Henrich. They've got room on the outside. They're looking to that wing. Can they get there? Little roll-around. Ball seemed to come loose. Referee says it's fine to play. Off they go. Here come the big green. Big green working their way in. Referee spots a knock on. Good defense there from the Crimson. It's going to be a scrum Harvard.
Well, you saw at the start of that possession, Dartmouth was struggling to find the front foot. And then what happened is Sadie Shears started to find her rhythm in the attack. Her pass, her service to her first receiver is so excellent, so perfect, and she gives her teammates so much time on the ball because she puts the ball right where they need it.
First scrum here for the Crimson. First scrum of the game. Sadie Sheard for this win, the senior from Eatonville, Washington. Going to be a history teacher and hopefully a coach. Played for the Kent Crusaders in high school. Referee Doe is going to bring this up. A little player safety first in the scrums.
Yeah, this is a very, very young front row. 2 sophomores, a freshman, and a junior at props between the two teams. They're both very, very powerful front rows, but still working out the technical aspects of this area of the game at the senior level. And we'll see which team can gain ascendancy. We saw a lot of scrums in the first, in the D2 final.
Pressure comes in from Dartmouth. They come off the back through to Pale. Pale gets driven back by the big green defense. They're inside their own 5-meter line. Harvard puts in a couple of runners, a Crimson. Looking to go again, trying to create a little room for somebody to clear their lines here. Shear directs traffic. Harvard continues. Pressure coming in from Dartmouth, but a penalty. Player coming in illegally, says referee Doe. So they're going to go quick. Morgan, called her by the wrong team for a second there. Apologies. Just getting started in this game myself. We are on with the big green. Taking the ball back off the quick take there, but there's a knock on referee Doe spotted. So it's going to be the big green here taking the scrum.
I think that Harvard would probably, Coach Dunham would probably be a little bit unhappy tapping deep inside your 22. You see them get good meters gained, but then the ball carrier gets isolated. That leads to the knock on. And Now there's a scrum and pressure for Dartmouth inside, Dartmouth inside the Harvard half. Probably the better option was to kick to touch.
Attacking opportunity here for the Big Green. Big Green have Cindy Taulava at the back, the number 8. She is a tremendous runner, is Taulava, the sophomore from San Leandro, California. But a little bit messy there. Harvard doing a good job. Referee Doe, however, spots an infraction from this Harvard team. So Dartmouth on the move again. Dartmouth trying to work that ball into Taulava's hands. They have to take it to ground. Ball's going back. The referee's happy. Taulava has it. Gets free from one tackler. Driving forward against her opposite number, Pale. Pale eventually takes down Taulava. They come into the middle of the field, do the Big Green. Have to recycle that one again. Can they disorganize this Harvard defense? Little chip kick over the top there. Daring at the beginning of this game. Ball seemed to be knocked forward by the Harvard defender. It was a free play from a penalty there. So Dartmouth opportunity right in front of the post. They could slot 3 and put some points on the board. They could try to make a statement.
I love that option to take advantage of the advantage. Kyla Widodo just needs to be a little bit wider to set up because you want to come from out to in to regather that cross-field kick. But as it stands, Dartmouth, as they did against Brown, they've got the penalty right in front of the post, but they're going to go to the scrum. So not opting for the scoreboard pressure here. They want to go for the jugular early.
These teams know each other so well. These coaches know how they play so well. They probably have something cooked up here based on their analysis. Be interested to see where they go. They have the hard-running Taulava at the back. It's going to be Sadie Shear. Wouldn't guarantee a place for Dartmouth. The senior gets that in, and they come around looking for a little move here. They get it back inside, working their way towards the try line. Couldn't find that seam, Henrich. Shear finds a runner. Just trying to make a little room. They're doing good work to stay on their feet. Harvard trying to come in and disrupt. Shear gets that one away. Taulava makes a little bit of ground. Quick ball coming around. Sorry, that's Taulava. Bulabalavu who took that last pass. Cross they come, looking for those runners. Dartmouth held up again by the Harvard defense. Crimson staying strong. They go to Taulava, but it slips under her feet. Ball put back and knocked on there. A little mistake from Henrich. First-year player. Took tough pass to take. Kira Doe, referee, whistles us signals for a Harvard lineout, a scrum.
You saw the patience there to build the pressure, but there was just a little bit too much panic. We've seen 2 nervy plays, both the quick tap from Harvard deep inside their 22, and then the slap back on the pass between the legs from a really solid player for Dartmouth there. You'll see them settle into this game, especially after you get a few contact incidents under your belt.
Just about 7 minutes gone in this Division I championship matchup here at Dartmouth College. You can hear the fans. They are in full force for both teams in the stands. This is becoming a legendary matchup here. Ball comes in from Reese Morgan. Reese Morgan, Pale to Morgan off the back of the Harvard scrum. Nice break up the middle of the field. Can't quite get there, Padilla, but she slips halfway through a couple. Trying to set up a defensive line there are the Big Green. Harvard again on the move. Calling for the ball. They haven't been on a lot of offense. They need to get it going. Courtney Taylor looked at a little tip pass but hung on to it. Charlotte Gilmore, her front row partner, comes in and cleans over that one. They've got some room now. They're going to go to the kick. Is there room in behind? Henrich takes that one well. Gets the ball across. It is behind the 50, so it could be a 50-22 if it got there, but it will not. This is going to be a ball very strong here for Harvard. That's Hedlund. Hedlund has been amazing for this Harvard team over the years. The senior from Ontario. Looking for a little tip pass, but not getting it are the Crimson. Morgan looks for a little room. Ball spilled. It's up into Dartmouth hands. Taulava gets us started. Shear down that left-hand side. Henrich looking to get it to that wing. Into the hands of Walker, but a little miscue there. We're going to come back. Just too much excitement. Looks like it should be a scrum here to Harvard. A referee player needs to be attended to. Looks like Lennox London.
Yeah, Harvard will be grateful to have that stoppage there for the forward passes. They are without one of their star players. But real quick, we've got Alex Goff on the sideline with an observation for us. Alex, what do you have for us down there?
Crowd, and yes, this is a very big, boisterous, loud crowd here at Dartmouth. And you know what? The Harvard fans are giving as good as they get. They have brought drums, they have brought noise, they've brought confetti. They are loud, and yes, it's a home game for Dartmouth. But I'll tell you what, Harvard is making sure it doesn't feel like it. Back to you guys.
You heard it there from Alex. We're back underway. It looks like Lennox London is okay, so we're going to have a scrum here to the Harvard Crimson as the first half moves on. No score here in this NYRA D1 championship match.
We've seen very conservative approaches to the scrum from both teams, and we've seen a lot of stability there. Which team is going to be the first to attack? Those props are a little bit older and a little bit more experienced than Harvard. Is this an area of the game where they can find an advantage?
Harvard, ball in there. Morgan moves it across field. Looking for a little move in there as Headland doesn't quite get it. Hilger taken in by Fiti Samanu. Another pass back in, ball spills forward. So we're going to have a scrum here to Dartmouth. Just so much endeavor from these two teams. A little bit of nerves, Joe, losing that ball.
I really like Reese Morgan when she's sniping and getting the ball out of the ruck and playing on the front foot. You saw Harvard making gain line there. Off the deck, sometimes her passes are just back shoulder, and that's what actually creates the knock-on for Pale on that play. She catches that ball back shoulder, and then she's trying to regather into a good position, and she's getting hit there. But if Morgan can pick that ball, snipe, get moving forward, that's when she is most dangerous, and that's when she's most accurate with her pass skill.
Good scrum from the big green, ball working its way back, but a late push there from the Crimson. It's a penalty. Are they going to go quick? Indeed, Reese Morgan will go quick. Into the center of the field they go. Ball into Vince's hands. She moves it a little bit wider. They're right around midfield. Harvard keeping ball in hand, looking to play some dynamic rugby. Happy to oblige as Pale. Pale met at midfield. Backwards she goes. Ball ripped away there by the big green. Big green on the move, but referee says illegally so. So we're going to come back here. It's going to be another penalty for the Harvard Crimson. Maya Hilger putting the ball on the ground.
And John, if Harvard gets over the 50 from this penalty, this will be their first time into Dartmouth's half, and we are already in the 11th minute. They're not going to kick for touch, though, and they're not going to go to the line-out. We thought that MTEJ Cave might give them an advantage there, give them a good opportunity to win some clean possession, but they clearly think the stronger attacking platform here is the scrum. You saw they won the penalty on the last one.
Scrum coming here from Reese Morgan to put this one in. Yet again, a few scrums in this first half. It is a bit chilly here. The wind's picking up. It rained a lot last night and into the morning. So there's a bit of a wet field. It's a dry air, but the weather temperature just dropping a bit here at Burnham Field. Morgan. Harvard on the move. Dummy runner. Big tackle in the middle of the field. Headland in a collision there with Dodo. Now they get their forwards going. That's Fiti Samanu. Into contact. A referee sees player not releasing from the big green. So Morgan's going to take advantage of it. This is something they're clearly targeting, this Harvard team. Tiana Padilla gets a ball at her feet, but is able to just tow it forward, so it's still alive. Fiti Samanu up and ready to run again. Thought about the pass. Is going to take this one into contact. Reese Morgan calling for runners. Going to get the ball out here to Vins. Vins has some forwards coming. That is Eva Rankin. Eva Rankin into contact. Players just raising their hand. Coming, that's Hilger, Maya Hilger. Headland gets one wide to Mignoni, but it doesn't quite hit there. So we're going to have a line out to the big green in their own half.
We saw against Brown, Dartmouth wanted to go quick at the line out quite frequently. Both of these teams want ball in play. A little bit of jouet spirit channeling the French flair of the from maybe this morning as we see these guys trying to these players try to speed it up.
It'll be a scrum, however. Scrum coming to the big green. Sadie Shear to put this one in. Taulava at the back. Waiting outside, of course, is Abby Saban. They're at their own 40, so their back line is a little further back. We'll see what the tactic is here. Coach Katie Dowdy up here at Dartmouth. Always a well-skilled and well-drilled team. Taulava has a ball at her feet. It's been big pushes coming in from the Crimson. They get another one. Crimson with another scrum penalty. They're going to get the ball to Morgan, and they're going to go not quick this time. Had everybody fooled, myself included, but they're putting pressure on the Harvard Crimson.
You saw Lila Bulabulavu stand up. Her head pops out of that scrum, and that's why the penalty comes. You've got to keep your weight down. You've got to keep your head in, and that's the penalty. And as you see Headland and Vincent egging on the fans to get loud for their forwards as they get ready to go to the corner for a lineout.
They are in the corner. Carly Lehman to put this one in. Have a setup here for Harvard. They have 6 players in the line. Ball up to the front. Taken away there, but knocked on, it looks like, by the Big Green. So we're going to come back. Referee spotted the knock on. We have a scrum, probably a better attacking opportunity here for the Harvard Crimson.
And the penalty count starting to rack up at scrum time against Dartmouth. Look for referee Akira Ado to maybe have a bit of a short fuse there. If one team's not scrummaging, they can issue that yellow card and tell the team to bring on a prop that can scrummage properly and safely. So we'll see if this dominance could lead to a one-player advantage for the Crimson.
Morgan to put this one in. Jojo Mignoti, freshman flyer, is standing behind the scrum, can insert herself into the line. PK Vins running a little wider, so we'll see if it's a Pale move off the back here. Ball squirts. Well taken there. Dartmouth may well come up with this. They have not stolen it. A set to Pale. Great work by the number 8 to keep that ball on the Crimson side. Carly Lehman, well marshaled by this Dartmouth defense. Ball up there to Courtney Taylor. Has been very effective in the scrums. One of her first runs in midfield. Morgan looking for some runners just to come off the back, create a little more room for this Crimson team. Off to the right-hand side they go. Driven back well by that Dartmouth defense. Dartmouth strong and aware of the tactics that this Crimson team will use. Just a little wider, middle of the field now. All their attacking options are to the right, with the exception of a wing out on this other side. They're going to kick that one through into the hands of one of the Dartmouth players, but it seemed to be knocked forward. Was it coming on an advantage? No. It's going to be a scrum, however, off the Dartmouth knock-on for the Harvard Crimson.
Perhaps a little bit lucky there for Harvard that it was knocked on. If that's fielded cleanly, there was no one home. That kick, you have to be 100% sure it gets behind the defense, because if you leave it in front of a defender, that could be a scoop and score. That could be a reservation for 5.
Certainly could be. Witty. Morgan to put this one in again. Crimson scrum have been a number of them so far this game. They certainly have had the dominance in these first 16 or so minutes. They will again. Referee Doe sets us down. Look at Vins there, waiting for the ball off the back, but Pale is going to go in the other direction. It's set to Pale, steps around one, gets around another. She's at the 22. Are they going to go for a pick and go here? We will not. Morgan's going to get that one up, get it into the hands of Eva Rankin. Rankin is going to get to the 22. They're looking to work this defense as the ball comes to Charlotte Gilmore, the Scottish-born player for the Crimson, junior out of Edinburgh. Now they go across the 22. They're in the middle, but there was an earlier penalty against the Big Green. We're going to come back for a Crimson penalty 5 meters out or right at the 22.
Referee Doe couldn't keep playing on because the steal by Dartmouth was legal, but playing with penalty advantage. And for, I think, the first time we see Harvard go kick to the corner.
Harvard kicks to the corner. They're going to go for the line out here. We'll see what their option is. They're getting close to the line, putting a lot of pressure on this Dartmouth team. As you said, penalties racking up for the Big Green right now, so they're going to have to be careful as this throw to come in from Lehman. Little miscues there. The ball's a little messy. Gets knocked on, however, by a Big Green player. So free play here for a couple of phases at least to the Crimson. Morgan looking for some runners. Fiti Samanu happy to oblige. She's double tackled. Driven back. Referee is going to come back for that knock on. Another set phase play here for the Harvard Crimson. They have to get some points out of this trip.
Yeah, no, both of these teams have mounted pressure and deepened their opposition end, haven't come away with points. You've seen on both those lineouts, Harvard trying to be just a little bit too fancy. Job one has to be win the ball. And with the Harvard feed, you've seen both these teams be pretty aggressive at the scrum when they're on defense. So look for Dartmouth to maybe have a crack here at the steal.
With the power that this Crimson team has been showing, scrums are something they will be happy to do today. Trying to drive this one forward, Pale at the back. They're going to put it to Vins. Vins, do they have a runner? They have somebody coming inside, but ball spilled. Little kick forward from the big green, but spills forward again. We have another scrum advantage here. Good attempt there by the big green, but spill it. Another scrum for Harvard.
We saw that dominance in the midfield where Harvard clearly has it in their zonal strategy to attack that scrum. I would like to see Harvard go for that scrum on their own feet in the attacking 22. Maybe see if they can launch Pale on a front foot attack there, or at least create a bit cleaner ball for Morgan, because their conservative play here in their attacking 22 has meant that Morgan's had to dig the ball and has had pressure on her pass.
Another scrum here for the Crimson. Pale off the back, goes to Morgan. Morgan has some runners. Well held by the Dartmouth defense right now. They're getting their offensive structure spread across the field. They go to Fiti Samanu. Charlotte Gilmore standing at the front of this pod. They're going to go in the other direction as Morgan. Going to look for some space, and it is not going to be there. This time to the forwards. Driving across. That is Courtney Taylor. The referee is going to penalize the Harvard Crimson this time. Players coming in and not keeping their feet. So Dartmouth holds them scoreless in their end for just a bit as we hit the 20-minute mark.
And we have another quick hit from Alex Goff on the sideline. Alex, what do you have?
Yeah, guys, you'll see that Harvard has been marching down the field, but I get the feeling down here on the sideline, Dartmouth is winning the contact point. They're coming and advancing and making Harvard go backwards. Like 3-4 phases that's happened. They are hitting hard, they're coming up fast, and they're staying on their feet to drive down tacklers. Whereas Harvard and some of their tacklers are a little bit more of that drop hip type of tackle. As a result, yes, Harvard's had possession and they've had territory. We haven't seen them score because we haven't seen them go forward. They're losing that contact point.
Thank you, Alex. Wise words from the sideline there. Alex, the rugby scribe, Goff, bringing you that great analysis. Going to be a line out here. There was a penalty, so it's going to be a Dartmouth line out here. The usual movement in the lineout. They go a little further, taken away by the Crimson. Crimson very much targeting that line out into the middle of the field. They go. Fiti Samanu just hands off a player there, and they continue to go. Quick ball, Morgan to Vins. Vins has some runners. Headland coming around back. Mignoni has it down the side. Jojo Mignoni, first-year player, hands off one, hands off two. Tackled the Bronxville, New York native. Ball comes up into the hands. Here come the Crimson. Crimson right on the line. Can they get through? Dartmouth will be looking to hold this one up. Low drives coming. Ball knocked on in there. So we're going to come back to a penalty advantage. It's going to be a penalty for the Harvard Crimson right at the 5-meter line. Morgan has ball in hand, but he's going to slow this one down just a touch.
It looks like they're getting ready to do a special tap move that they worked on in the training ground.
And they get it up to Pale. Pale takes it in with Fiti Samanu right over, clearing it. Ball seemed to be knocked down there, but referees having a word with this Dartmouth team about their repeated infringements. At 22 minutes, they have to be very careful. You don't want to get a card here. Referee Doe just going to issue a warning, but that's a big warning.
Yeah, well, you can't commit penalties in this end of the field. It starts to creep into the referee's mind that these are professional fouls. They're intentional to prevent scores, and that's going to lead the referee to have to put someone in the sick bin. and now there will be the pressure on those front row forwards, those props for Dartmouth, who've been penalized a few times before. They need to be flawless here if they're going to stay on the field.
Crimson, another bite of the apple. They bet down here quite a bit. Need that go forward that Alex Goff was talking about. Morgan to put this one in. Pale at the back, but referee Doe is going to bring it up and want a little bit of a safer scrum here.
Just looking for stability through this engagement process. Both of these front rows are jockeying for position, jockeying to see if they can break the body profile of their opposition through the bind in the center.
We'll see what happens as they come together. The ball comes in. Big drive coming in from Dartmouth this time. Ball at Pale's feet. Pale. Morgan's going to take it, however. Going to get it into the center. So Padilla, little line coming in. And it is first blood to the Crimson. We'll get that number for you, but a great inside move by number 15, Chloe Headland. Chloe Headland is going to touch it down. They take the initial lead to the Harvard Crimson.
That's a lovely, clever line that comes from Chloe Headland. She starts, I believe, to the left of the scrum, so no one's paying attention to her. Then she comes around like she's going to go wide, so everyone thinks that she's a threat going out the back towards the touchline, and then that quick change of direction to come right back to that outside hip of Padilla, giving her the tip line to go through for the try, almost untouched. Really, really clever line running.
Excellent work there from Headland, and just a great, well-worked move for this team. There is a shot clock on these extra points now. So Mignoni coming in to hold this one for Headland. Headland scores a try, will work to convert it. Headland is good, so we're at 7-0, just under 25 minutes gone.
One thing I really appreciated from Padilla is how she comes forward onto the ball here. You see she just gets that move initiated with her footwork, coming forward, committing defenders, and that's something we haven't seen from the Harvard backline till that phase, because they've been awfully stagnant catching the ball and what they do after the catch. They change that. That's just solid fundamentals. Every young woman who wants to be a Harvard or a Dartmouth rugby player should be watching that.
Restart from the big green. They're back on defense, however. Ball is in Morgan's hands. Morgan to Fins. Vins gets to Pale, but it slips in behind her. She thought about the run before she thought about the ball safety. Harvard's able to hang on to that one, but a little further back, just outside their 22. Vins, standing back, is going to go to the boot. Launches this one to play for her team, and it bounces. Did it go forward? No, it went backward. Referee is fine with that. Henrich comes up with it, and it gets into Taulava's hands. Taulava gets the ball across the 50. Does a great job of holding ball up so they can get it, and they hang one up into this Hanover Knights right outside the 22. Launch back from the Crimson. Saban having to go back on this one. Saban outside of her own 22. Pushes that one into touch, so we're going to come all the way back for a line out for the Crimson, about 25 meters out from the big green line.
That one was a big momentum swinging mistake there for Dartmouth. First, they allowed the space behind for the kick, and then recovering back, Saban needs to come infield when she collects that ball instead of towards the touchline. She takes away all of her angle to kick, and because she's in front of the 22, she's not allowed to kick directly into touch. And we have a Harvard line out just outside the 22 as a result.
Ball coming in from Lehman, the senior, contested by the big green, but taken down. Pale puts a little pass back in. It's right there for Jojo Mignoni. They're still alive, and Pale runs again. Reese Morgan looking to the forwards. Fiti Samanu. Nafanua Fiti Samanu takes that one into contact that time. Cross they come. Padilla's been so good. Nearly got another player free, but that ball was knocked on, so it's going to be a scrum for the big green, but nearly another setup try from Padilla.
Yeah, nearly. Padilla is doing a really, really great job slotting into that first receiver role. She just puts that attack on the front foot. She straightens it up, and she makes sure defenders are committing, creating space on the outside for her peers and for her teammates.
It's just that multi-threat. You have to deal with her as a runner, and she's got runners coming in from different angles. Right now, Harvard doing a great job of flooding those channels. We have a player down and just getting attended to for Harvard.
And that's number 7, Allie Amerson of Dartmouth, who's actually getting attention.
Amerson still being looked at down there.
She is open side flanker, so a very big defensive piece for the Big Green. A lot of times you see her defending in the middle of the field for Dartmouth, which is notoriously a really difficult and really important position to defend. You don't want to give opposition good platforms where they have good forward, go forward with the ability then to strike left or right after that phase. So they really rely on her to get up the field, to shut down threats in that midfield. And we'll hope she'll be okay because she is a dynamic defender and a really key piece of how this Big Green team wants to play.
The Big Green started the game down in the Harvard end. They've been under the pump a little bit. A lot of offensive pressure coming in from this Crimson team. They really need something, as you've been saying, to kind of swing that momentum around.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that the kicking exchange, PK Vincent has been accurate with her boots and putting Saven under a lot of pressure. I thought it might have gone the other way in this matchup, but Vince has stepped up and arose to the occasion in the best possible way. You've seen them target Henrich with the high ball, a little bit shorter of a player in that back three, and you wonder if that was something that Coach Mel Dunham and co. saw on film before, and they wanted to target Henrich.
Referee puts time back on. It's going to be a scrum for the Big Green. They've been a little bit under pressure in this area, so want to get this one to Taulava's feet as quick as they can and get this ball out. They need to play in the open spaces. Start to work some of that quick Dartmouth-style rugby we've been seeing in the past. The Crimson doing a great job. Here it is, quick ball. Across the 22 they go. Players wrapping around a defense. They're going to come back. Sadie Shear in this direction, but she has company. Company arriving a little too early and offsides, so it's going to be a penalty here for the Big Green. And it looks like Saven is going to push this one downfield, move the chains.
This could be that big pressure reliever if it finds touch.
It looks like a fantastic play there by Headland. Headland got herself over the touchline there, able to knock that one back in. Saven launches it downfield. There's some green grass. Will it roll? This would have been a 50-22 if we could have gotten there, but inside their 22 are the Crimson. Headland is going to kick this one into the safety of touch. So it's going to be an attacking line out of the 40-meter line for Dartmouth. They need to string together some phases, build that momentum, and build back a little bit of confidence.
Yeah, despite that kick for touch not finding touch, you see the kicking error going midfield. Dartmouth almost squandered it by letting the ball bounce, but savvy move by Saven, collect the ball with time, spotting the space there in the left corner, and it was a brilliant kick to get behind the Harvard kick cover.
Little movement in the line out again. Ball comes down to Dartmouth, but squirts on the ground. It comes back to a Harvard player. Harvard on the attack again. Inside their own 50. They have runners out wide here if they come out here. Tiana Padilla looking to get her hands free and does. Here's the danger group. This is Headland. Headland rolls it back in. Well picked up by Fiti Samano. Fiti Samano to the ground. Dartmouth players trying to rip that one away, but referee says it's fine. But spotted a knock on somewhere, so we're going to have it looks like a scrum for the Crimson.
I think actually what happened is referee Akira Dogat ran into, and because he affected the play, he had to stop it. Fortunately, he's all right. He just got a little bit of a tweak into his knee there. It's a full contact sport for the refs as well.
Once in a while. Thank God we're both up in the booth here because I was looking off in a different direction. So Joe Erasmus spots that one as Reese Morgan ready to get us underway again. Another attacking scrum for the Crimson. Vins standing in that first receiver position. Working her way across the back is Mignoni. Can she insert herself in the field here? We have runners coming a different direction. Mignoni enters the line, gets it to Lennox London. Lennox London is a finisher. Lennox London rolls around one, gets hit right around the 22-meter line, but good drain there for this Crimson team as Pale inserts herself through a couple of people and is out. They go off to the right-hand side. Hilger. Maya. Hilger takes that one in. Back they come to Fiti Samanu, up and ready to run. Pale Nearly gets across the 22 unscathed, but held down. Morgan, Vins has runners. She's got Courtney Taylor. Courtney Taylor has a few meters in the tank. Hedlund runs a dummy line this time. Padilla, can't she put somebody away? It's JoJo Mignoni. Mignoni held by the big green defense. Mignoni. Ball across. Fiti Samanu. Morgan. Taylor. Morgan. Gets the ball up to Jara Emptage Cave. Talked about her earlier. Great line-out operator. Barbadian Bajan player on this Harvard Crimson team. And the Crimson continue to add up the phases here. Ball out the back to Vins this time. Wrapping around is Padilla. Padilla hands off one. Padilla hands off two. Padilla looks at the line. She's so close but can't quite get there. Tiana Padilla down to the ground. Out wide they go. Quick ball. Can they get over the line? They are. Try awarded. Phenomenal play there by the Crimson just to wind down this defense. Get the number for you. That could be Hedlund touching down again.
It all starts with Padilla, though. Padilla has been so solid. She straightens up that attack. She puts them on the front foot. You say it every time in a training environment. Run, catch, act. And she starts by running. She sucks in that defense. Great running lines by her to create space for her teammates and to commit defenders.
Still trying to get this number for you here. We do apologize. Hedlund, I don't think scored this. As she is up to take the kick and somebody popped the ball up to her. Hedlund, a little high with that one. Assistant referees say that one's no good. So we're 12-0, under 10 minutes to go in this first half. National Intercollegiate Rugby Association D1 Championship matchup.
And we have Alex Goff down on the sideline with an observation about Padilla that he'd like to share with us. What are you seeing down there, Alex?
Well, Joe, you kind of stole my thunder, but the thing is that Tiana Padilla is a dangerous attacking player, but it is her distribution skills that she's developed over the last couple of years. She's a multi-time Sorensen Award nominee, and the reason is her passing is directly on point. That attack mostly came from a perfect flat pass for JoJo Mignoni to run onto, and it is her passing and her skip passing that sets up these other players to score, and her unselfishness to boot. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Alex. Momentum here for the Crimson. Hedlund pushes that one downfield, and it rolls into touch. We'll see if it was touched by a player. It was not.
And we got confirmation that was JoJo Mignone, who came off her wing to get the try. You love to see that. Wingers getting involved in the attack. And you see her all the way on the far right side of the field to get over for the try. All set up first by the excellent work of Padilla.
We have more perch up here in the broadcast booth. That corner is that side. A little bit tougher to catch the numbers sometimes. We'll do the best we can for you. Exciting matchup here. Up 12-0. Harvard has just been feeding off of this momentum energy they have at the moment. Dartmouth, with 7 minutes to go on the game clock in this half, is going to want to put some points on the board as they come down with that one.
Simplifying the lineup.
Ripped away by the Crimson, however. Crimson back on the attack. Crimson happy to go. Vins hit hard, but able to get the ball away. Wide pass out there to Padilla. Padilla steps around. Padilla is having a game. Padilla outside the 40-meter line. They've got runners to the right or runners to the left. They're going to choose a pot of forwards. They had some speed out on this left-hand side. They may come back this way as Fiti Samanu is going to be the first receiver for this one. Fiti Samanu is going to gain a little ground. Reese Morgan. Big collision in the middle. Looks like the battle of the eights again. Morgan. Ball a little over Vince's head, but she regathers well. Gets it to the 22. Saban. Goes to the boot. Saban finds some ground. It works its way towards the middle of the field, so there's an advantageous position here. Hedlund gets it a little wider, gets it to Padilla. Padilla has three defenders in front of her, gets it to Mignoni. Mignoni Gets by the first defender. A couple of more get in there. Player not quite rolled away for Dartmouth. So play from the Crimson went in and over as the ball pops up into Eva Rankin's hands. Eva Rankin, the junior from Pittsburgh, takes it into contact. Vins gets that one away. The Breckenridge, Colorado native. Morgan to Vins. Vins hangs one up in the air for Lennox London. Lennox London seems to knock that one forward and does. The referee is going to give a scrum here just inside their own half to the Big Green, who have not seen a lot of offense this half.
Well, they haven't seen a lot of territory either. After that first 10 minutes, it's all been down in their own end, and this kicking error is going to provide an absolutely massive opportunity. This is the area of the field, and this against the feed is the situation where Harvard is going to be the most aggressive based on what we've seen so far. So look for the strategy to be a big push here. Can Dartmouth come away with clean ball? Can they create an attacking platform, build some phases, maybe put the ball down into the corner and start to threaten the Harvard line?
Dartmouth attacking opportunity. Under 5 minutes on the stadium clock. Ball squirts out the back, so Taulava can't have a run. Sadie Shear is going to work her way across. Nice move there from Henrich. Keeps the ball alive. Gets the ball to the wing. Ball's in the hands of Widodo. Widodo takes it into contact. They're still alive. Playing some fast rugby right now are the Big Green. Big Green through Taulava. Taulava, the sophomore, can always find a little room. Sadie Shear. It's a penalty, and Sadie Shear is going to go quick. Harvard, good job getting back that 10, and Shear gets hit. Gets the ball away. Jordan Duncan. Across they come. Good hands to get into the middle of the field. They're off to that left-hand side. They've got runners in either direction. See which way they decide to go. Shear spots a penalty, forced there, not releasing against the Big Green. Good work by Harvard at their own 22. They stop that Big Green momentum. Big moment for them.
That was really important to stop that momentum because Dartmouth were starting to find a groove. Sadie Shear, when she gets going, her pass off the deck skips 3, 4, 5 defenders every single time, and that ball is lightning quick, which means that the first receiver can do something with it. You see Harvard's defensive numbers getting shorter and shorter every time she passes off the breakdown because they skip out so many defenders with her pass, and they were getting a little bit skinny on that far side of the pitch. They will be glad to come to this penalty and this scrum option.
Scrum to the Crimson. Pale comes off the back. Pale gets a little bit of room. Courtney Taylor. Ball back. Vins hangs one up again. They want contestable kicks right now, and that one is knocked forward there. A little mistake coming in from Caitlin Walker. Hung up in those evening lights there. Knocks down. It's going to be a scrum to the Crimson.
That was a really, really tough space to mark in terms of covering for kicks. It was perfectly placed between Walker and Henrich, and you see a little bit of confusion and indecision about whose responsibility it was. Both of the players could get there, but you see them both hesitate, and that's what ultimately leads to the knock-on and the dropped kick.
The Crimson, another scrum to them. 2 minutes on the stadium clock. May have a little referee's time. Akira Doe will keep the ultimate time here with his assistant referees as Pale works it off the back. They get it to a run around the midfield. This is one of those dummy runs. That's Chloe Headland. Great line, gets across midfield. They are doing well with these angles here as the ball comes out into the hands of Hilger. That one seemed to be knocked forward. Referee looking at his watch to check the time. We're going to have a scrum here for the Big Green. Another opportunity for them to get that momentum going before half.
Yeah, and Harvard are going to want to score as many points as they can. They've had the wind at their back. The second half, it's going to be Dartmouth's advantage, and they're going to look to push that advantage through the boot of Saban. So they need to go into the halftime with a lead. Expect Dartmouth to be able to control that territory a little bit better in the second.
As you always wonder, is it a 12-point wind? Is it a 14-point wind? How many points is that wind worth? Which will be, as you said, at the back of the Big Green in the second half. Big drive coming in, but Taulava happy to take it. Shear looking for a runner. They have some space. Annie Henrich. Henrich, the first-year player. Played for Orchard Park in high school. Goes to the ground, gets it in the middle of the field. Shear slows that one just a touch. Save it. A little wider, looking for runners. They're out in the middle of the field. Paulo Arredondo Alameda takes that one. Gets it out a little wider. Going to have to recycle this ball. The back's doing the work. There's a handout. Is this a penalty advantage? The referee says indeed it is. So they're going to go quick. This time it is going to be a Dartmouth quick ball. Dartmouth at the 22. Little offload there. Have to keep ball in hand. Tough work down in that end of the field. Looking to get at some runners. They need to keep structure too. No panic for this Dartmouth team will be the order of the day as they come quickly. They've drawn in some of the defense there from the Crimson, but a big tackle from the Crimson gives them a little more time. They come out to Taulava. Taulava puts it out to Henrich. Henrich has some running room. Henrich has Widodo. Widodo looking for the line. She hands one off. And late in the first half, a setup from Henrich. And it is, a Caitlin Walker. They switch sides there. Try, the wings keep switching sides. That's Caitlin Walker, touches down for 5. And right at the end of the half, Dartmouth gets a little bit of confidence.
You saw Caitlin Walker out there on the sideline. I think she had her hand up, raised for the ball, showing she had the space. She was calling her number for about a minute there. And finally, coming around the corner was Henrich. Really lovely blocker play. Great job by Cindy Taulava to keep her shoulders square, commit to defenders, throw the ball out the back, and lovely job by Henrich to put away her wing.
Hey, again, apologies to Walker. The Dartmouth does a great job of getting their wings on either side here. So just glancing down at the numbers, and who I thought was there, the wrong one, but Walker, what a wonderful try from the junior from Eagle, Idaho. Eagle High School, the Lady Mustangs, a great program out there. And this kick, it just falls short, so we're 12-5.
And here we see the try with the setup. Henrich, what a job to take the high shot and put away her teammate. She knew she was going to get clobbered. That's putting it all on the line for your team in the championship game.
And that is going to be the first half here. A late Dartmouth try closes the gap a little, but the Harvard Crimson up 12-5 over the Dartmouth Big Green here at Dartmouth College. We're going to step aside for just a couple of minutes. Come back with some halftime information.
Hi, my name's Caitlin. I'm a 26, and my hot take is that dogs are overrated.
Hello, I'm Jordan Duncan. Dogs are not overrated. My name is Katie Hansen. I'm in the class of 2027, and my hot take is blue raspberry flavored things are terrible. My name is Kelly Miller. I'm in the class of 2027, and my hot take is that black coffee is better than coffee with creamer in it. Hi, my name is Paula Arredondo Almeida. I'm a 27, and my hot take is that milk goes before cereal. I'm Katrina Moreno with the class of 2027, and my hot take is that milk is really, really gross. My name is Cassie Depner. I'm a 25, and my hot take is that I don't believe in shoes. I think everybody should be barefoot. It's good for you. Hi, my name is Taylor Sadek, and my hot take is mint chocolate chip is the best flavor of ice cream.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Ortiz-Palin, and my hot take is that dabbing is still in.
Hi, my name is Jenna Sheldon, and dabbing is not still in.
My name is Sadie Shear. I'm a 25, and my hot take is that Bigfoot is real. I'm Auntie Layla Bulabulavu. I'm the class of 2027, and my hot take is that crumble cookie is disgusting. My name's Sia Many. I'm a 25, and my hot take is that it's okay to notify people on Do Not Disturb. My name is Abby Saven. I'm a 24, and my hot take is lakes are better than oceans. Hi, my name's Josie. I'm a 25, and my hot take is that Hershey's actually tastes really bad.
Welcome back to Burnham Field in New Hampshire, where the Harvard Crimson lead the Dartmouth Big Green 12-5 at halftime of this NYRA D1 championship game. Alex Goff is on the sideline, having just spoken to both sets of coaches. What have you heard from them, Alex?
Well, Joe, talking to Katie Dowdy at Dartmouth, she was a little bit miffed that they didn't take points from pressure early in the game, probably hoping that they had opted to kick for goal on a penalty. And then they were exerting pressure defensively. They just were getting into penalty trouble, and those penalties were allowing Harvard to march down the field. Reading between the lines a little bit, I think maybe they're a little bit unhappy with some of the interpretations, but hey, you got to play with the officiating that you've been dealt. So big focus there would be fix that discipline. On the Harvard side, well, Mel Denham said stay in the fight, and so that's a little recognition from her that there's a little bit of an issue with them for the point of contact. They're getting smacked around a little bit. They've done well to keep the ball, however, and so their ball retention, building phases, even if they're going backwards, they've been able to build phases and create tries. Stay in the fight, and then defensively just fold a little bit better. And right after she said that, well, guess what? They got caught on an odd man rush, and Dartmouth scored. And my own small observations, well, Dartmouth has been poor under the kick, and they need to sort of fix that. Just forget about all those mistakes and just kind of start over. Meanwhile, Harvard has been very good with their ball retention. Whenever they get that go forward combined with the ball retention, obviously they're scoring tries. And as you said, Joe, with the wind changing, the changing ends, the wind is going to favor Dartmouth. That'll be a different story perhaps in the second half. Back to you guys.
Great points, Alex. We'll see how Dartmouth can do under that high ball when the wind's in the face and it hangs a little bit higher there in the second half. But now I'm being joined by the wonderful commissioner of NYRA, Amy Russert. It is great to have you in the booth talking about the initiative. How are we doing on our way to 40?
We're doing pretty well. So in 24-25, we have 31 programs. That's in accordance to the NCAA and their sports sponsorship records. So not all are members of NYRA. The majority are. But we're doing well. We just need to keep sprinting.
I hear you. What's the strategy? How do we get to 40? And then what is the big payoff when we get there?
So getting to 40, I mean, each institution, each division, each conference, I mean, it's very bespoke. So we want to make sure that we're meeting the needs of athletic directors, potential, commissioners of conferences, and making sure that rugby solves for a problem or offers a solution to women's sports programming on their campuses and in their conferences.
Awesome. And this is another great championship event. We have seen the standard of competition and the parity of competition, it seems like, getting better year over year. How much goes into this, and how excited are you by this amazing product that's getting put out on the field?
Yeah, I'm thrilled. I mean, both games today have been absolutely riveting, but the season 2 has been riveting. So we saw a lot of parity across D1, the vast majority of D1. So that was really, really exciting. I think kind of puts everyone on notice and leads to just a phenomenal championship weekend like this.
Are there any big exciting things we should be looking forward to? Not to get it to 40 minutes ahead of ourselves, but are there any big changes coming in 2025?
Big changes in terms of NYRA?
Yeah.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to welcoming Lindenwood University into the competitive mix. So they'll be joining us next year, which is going to be great. We're also going to be onboarding new members, both LaSalle University at the Division I level and Thomas College at Division III. So they've already announced publicly, but they'll be joining us officially, which we're really excited about. And we hope to have a few more.
Awesome. Can we get a prediction from you on the final of this game?
Absolutely not. Thanks, Joey.
I knew that, Amy. Thank you for being here with me.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for putting together a great event.
Okay. Thank you.
These Bulldogs are the top dogs. Harvard, an overtime winner. Princeton into the round of 30.
I could, but Mel texted me an awful lot.
Yeah, yeah, no, that was all good. Yeah. It's the people who watched the first game were probably not watching for consistency in the second game.
That's true.
Yeah. That's what I was looking for. I got everyone in the country to watch you sweat for a second there.
I got into the sport of rugby through my family.
I got into rugby through my sister.
My older sister started playing. Shout out, Han, I love you. And every little sister wants to be like her big sister, so I started playing the next year.
I met two of the girls on the team just like my first couple days on campus, and they were like, "You gotta play rugby, you gotta play rugby." And I was like, that's a long shot. But then, I ended up here and it's a good time and I love it.
Rugby has taught me the true meaning of passion.
Probably confidence. Rugby's taught me a lot about respect and humility. The whole culture surrounding rugby is really beautiful, and I think it's part of the reason I fell in love with it. You respect yourself more, you respect your teammates, you respect your opponent.
I think the biggest one is how to work with the team and work with people from so many different backgrounds, and also deal with hard things.
Sometimes you have to go backwards to go forwards.
To stand for something bigger than yourself.
You can learn from your mistakes.
My favorite rugby memory is winning the national championship at Army a few years ago. My favorite memory is probably my sophomore year when both our team and the men's Dartmouth side team won Ivies at home on Brophy, and just being able to celebrate with our friends and family at the clubhouse afterwards.
Just showing up to Brophy every week, every day for practices and games, and just beautiful scenery with great people.
I don't think I have a specific favorite memory, but my favorite part of the season and being with the team is just how close I've gotten to my friends and how every trip is full of laughs and it's so positive.
The energy of the team is just really, really infectious. It's confident and powerful and prideful, and yeah, that's definitely going to stick with me for the rest of my life.
Welcome back to Burnham Field at Dartmouth College, National Intercollegiate Rugby Association D1 Championship match. I am John Broger with Joey Erasmus on the call for this second half. 12-5 to Harvard. Harvard put a lot of pressure on, had a lot of ball and a lot of territory. Right at the end, Dartmouth cut down the lead to 7 points. What are these coaches talking about at halftime?
Well, we talked about how first Dartmouth had to cut out the penalties, and you saw that at the very end, and they were rewarded with the try where they just played through the phases, they get it down the field, they score. Here we're coming into the second half. Dartmouth is going to try to use that wind advantage that they have now. You were saying, is it a 5-point wind? Is it a 12-point wind? I know it's a cold wind. We'll have to see what that number is.
Referee Akira Doe to get us going again. Running from left to right on your screen in this half will be the Harvard Crimson in the white. In the green is, of course, the big green of Dartmouth to receive this kick. Referee Doe gets us underway again. A nice high hanging kick right at that 10-meter line. It's contestable. It comes back to the big green. They have first possession of this half. They're going to want to make use of it. They go for a quick pick and go there. Bodies just tumbling everywhere. They go again looking for a little bit of space. Again, they're going to go for this through Jordan Duncan. Interesting second half beginning tactic from this big green team. Not something they're typically known for. Driven back this time by the Harvard defense. Players in the fight. Around this left-hand side they go. Big break. A little more ground they're gaining there. Siameni looked like she gave a little bit of an elbow, but she got a high tackle from the Harvard Crimson. Just what they needed to start off this half. The big green launch this one downfield. It is going to be their scrum just outside the 22-meter line of the Crimson. Good opportunity for them to possibly cut down the lead some more.
I was really interested in how Harvard was covering that kick. They almost had a back line of 3, but all in this right touch line, and you wonder if that's something on the far side of the field that Dartmouth could exploit, sucking them into that side of the field, not only with their forward carries, but with their kicking threats, and then flash back to the other sides. We've seen a few close 50-22 bits. There was a shoe lost on the last passage of play, so that is what we're waiting for.
Asetapale. Dartmouth player is happy to give that shoe back. We have a 4-player lineout coming here for the big green. They're up in the air. They've got to throw the ball. Referee Doe has slowed this down a little bit, however. and is now putting time back on. Once the shoe is back on, he has to get us started. See if they go for the same tactic, and they do. It's taken by Jara Emptage Cave. It's back well inside their 22 for the Crimson, so they're under a bit of pressure territorially right now as they get the ball up to Charlotte Gilmore. Charlotte Gilmore takes that ball to ground. Goes out to Carly Lehman. Lehman doesn't gain much territory, but another phase. Are they going to look for a kickback here? At some point, they do. Ball comes back there to Vins. They go crossfield kick. That's a gutsy move. Knocked on, however, by the big green player. So we're going to come to a scrum here. Joey, they're just hanging the ball off the lights, and Dartmouth's having some trouble dealing with it.
Yeah, we talked about it in the first half. It was Henrich that they were really targeting. Here in the second half, they're going crossfield. But we talked about struggling with that high ball. Now that Harvard's playing into the wind, that ball's only going to hang up there more and move around in unpredictable ways. So if Dartmouth is going to come into this game, look for them to find a way to deal with that high ball. But if they field that cleanly, they had very little resistance from the Crimson to score a try there.
Certainly an opportunity. The Crimson inside their 22. Set to Pale. Ball at her feet is going to come off the back, try to create a little room. Gets by the first, moves to the side. Successful ball coming back. Morgan gets to a waiting forward, just trying to set up here. They're outside the 22, so any kick would have to stay in. And they've been putting up these contestable kicks. They do again. Henrich back, fielded safely on that one. Sees some space inside the 22. Rolls it over. It's right outside the touchline. Is it going to sit? It is. Pressure's on. Kicked in a touch. Not a lot of room. Great tactic there from the big green. Smart, quick thinking from the freshman fullback, first-year fullback. It's going to be a Dartmouth line-out well inside the Harvard 22.
We see the same mistake in the first half where the kick is missed by Harvard to the middle of the field, and that sets up a really easy kickback on an angle to put Harvard under pressure in the corner.
Dartmouth, little movement in the line out, the coordinated dance that is the modern line out. Ball comes down, good drive towards the touchline from Harvard. They've gotten them into touch, great work defensively. It's going to be a line out for the Crimson just inside their 22.
That's a great moral victory for the Crimson because this Dartmouth maul can be very, very dangerous. Not only will they come straight at you, they have all kinds of shift mauls where they'll shift the point of attack, changing who's the first player who's taking and setting up that maul, and that can be incredibly difficult to defend. So well done by Harvard to put a little doubt into Dartmouth about whether they can actually use that as an attacking platform.
As they say, best way to stop a ball is not to let it start, and that one got started right there. Crimson gain a little ground. Dartmouth put the pressure on. The runners coming. They're still mired inside their 22 right now, about 4 minutes into the second half. So Dartmouth have the territorial gain in this half so far. Ball in the Harvard 22. Another set of forward runners come. Now they're looking to go a little to the left-hand side. That lane closes down. Where are the options here? They're going to go back for the kick this time. Long, raking kick down the touchline. Great work. They're just outside about the 40, and it's going to be Dartmouth ball. Dartmouth is going to go quick. There's a little pressure on them. Going to have to move this one. They got runners across the field. Can they get it out here? They're drawing the defense with them. A little bit of an issue, but great handling work there. Get the ball into the try scorer there, but she slips just a little bit. Caitlin Walker. Walker takes it into contact. They're going to come up with this ball. Pressure coming in from the Crimson. The ball stays alive. Shear, saving. Big runner in the midfield. Bulabulavu. Bulabulavu takes it to ground. Or hands it off. Now they're going to take it to ground. Good work by the big green. Player for Harvard there needs to roll away. Shear, saving. Runners in the middle of the field. They go out the back to Henrich. Henrich scrambles, goes one way, gets the pass away. Great run coming here. Great work from Dartmouth. Dartmouth opportunity to close this down. The line is there. The tackle is made. So close. They're working their way towards the try line. Will they be held up? Will they get it down? Try awarded with a kickable kick to come. We're going to get these numbers for you. It is a wonderful answer and a great start to the second half by the Dartmouth Big Green. 2 points in it, 12-10, kick to come.
And all that's changed is every time Harvard's tried to exit, Dartmouth has caught the kick. You see how dangerous they were. I loved how they initially started that kick counterattack by switching the field. Harvard was over-concentrating their chase on the left side, on the far side, and Dartmouth found the front foot on this near side to us, got on the front foot, and from there, it's easy to finish when you're running downhill.
Kick to come from the first-year player, Henrich. She has racked up a lot of points. She is good with the boot, and she is good with that one. We are all tied up here in Hanover. It's 12. It is exciting. Dial in, Joey. The rest of the game is coming.
I am so excited for this. We've had back-and-forth games in both situations today in D2 and D1 as we see the finishing touches to this try. Caitlin Walker set it up with her strong counterattack carry. The ball goes left side to right side and finally crashing over.
That might have been Taulava that scored that one. Try to get confirmation from that if we can. High restart here from the Crimson.
Great take.
Well taken. Sia Many takes that one down. Sheer, little tip pass there. Now the confidence seems to be swinging Dartmouth way. Home crowd cheering them on. Hard work, keeping those legs pumping. They get across the 40-meter line. Crimson trying to dig that ball out. Player not rolling away. Quick ball. They're going to go. Big run coming here. There are runners outside. Great pass. There goes Sia Many. Sia Many gets through one. Sia Many, what a player from Cypress, California. Ball down. Little pick and go. Dartmouth working inside the 22. Saving in the middle of the field. That one skips by a couple people, so a little loose, but it comes down just fine in the hands of Paulo Arredondo Alameda. Ball out the back. They're going to have to get this one going. Little pass in the middle of the field. They're starting to inject these runners really well. Cross they come. Powerful runners coming, looking for the offload. Not there for Taulava. She had Bulabulabu with her. They're going to come back to this left-hand side. Runners coming. Just a little pass. Get themselves going forward to the reset. Harvard defense putting in some power. You see right there as they come off to the other side, but the ball squirts. Players diving down on it. Looked like a knock-on from the Crimson, but a referee just couldn't quite see it. And Henrich nearly escapes a couple of tackles. They're inside the 22. Nearly wriggled free, but they're on a sustained attack. Saban pulling the strings here. Gets the ball out to Jordan LeBeau, but knocked on in the contact. It's going to be a scrum for the Crimson, but this game has some ebbs and flows, and it is exciting.
I loved the first carry that starts off this passage was Cindy Taulava fighting through contact, and you saw in her face how much she loved that contact. Tongue out and smiling. It was absolutely joyful to watch, but just now, Arredondo Almeida, the inside center for the Dartmouth Big Green, is getting some attention. She got to her feet after being down for a few seconds and then had to go back down. It's always scary when you see a player who tries to get back on their own power and can't stay up.
Arredondo Almeida, an excellent player for this team. She's a sophomore from Summit County, Colorado. Biology and Spanish major.
And we have a quick observation from Alex Goff on the sideline. Alex, what are you seeing?
Yeah, guys, Sia Many has been a monster for Dartmouth. She's putting in some of the better tackles and a powerful run to get them going, go forward here. And I think there's a lot to be said for confidence in rugby. And you have a freshman at fullback who had a couple of iffy moments in the first half, and Annie Henrich. And she's come back full of confidence. Obviously, scoring that try helped, but I think that a little talk in the halftime and just say, hey, look, forget about the drop kicks. Take care of what you can take care of. Kickers kick, runners run, and she is running with confidence. And if she can jumpstart them in the back line, well, Dartmouth may cap off this comeback with a lead.
Thank you, Alex. Scrum for the Crimson. Arredondo Almeida is up, and she is okay and ready to play. Referee Doe gets us underway once again with a scrum just outside their 22. Good initial shove there from the Big Green. They're starting to put some pressure onto the scrum. First half, it seemed to be all Harvard, so is that going to change a bit as well? Ball not quite to Headland in the space you would like, but always able to make something out of it. What a tremendous athlete is Headland. Little pass just slips to the ground, so Crimson are going to have to reset, but a penalty, however, and they're going to go quick. Here come the Crimson, playing quick ball here, showing that ball around. Maya Hildred. Out they come. Piti Samanu. Harvard, they're rolling on the ground there, but referee on the other side of the ruck. Not sure it would have been illegal anyways. They come around the back, looking a little wide. Good ball back in. Big break coming. Good run here. Tiana Padilla has just been unbelievable in this game and continues to find seams through this defense. Tiana Padilla. We have a whistle here. Referee wants to have a little bit of a conversation with this Dartmouth team. Harvard fans, of course, calling for a yellow card. Referee is just going to issue a bit of a warning and a penalty here, so it's going to be ball to Harvard. Harvard opportunity off the high tackle. They've decided to take the scrum right in the middle of the field here, just about 38 meters out, just inside the 40-meter line of this Dartmouth Big Green team. We're deadlocked at 12 at Burnham Field. NYRA D1 Championship, everything on the line this season's come to this. We're 10 minutes into the second half, 30 minutes of NYRA rugby action to go.
You finally see Dartmouth finding confidence in that scrum with that last one deep in the Harvard end. Can they show that same confidence here? Can they put the pressure on? If they can turn the scrum in their favor, that would be huge for momentum in this game.
Ball in, ball at the feet. The Harvard players, they go off to the left-hand side to Headland. Headland, one of the danger runners, Hedmanioni out there, is going to have to go into contact and not release that ball. Can they find some room on the outside? Shut down by the Dartmouth defense. Dartmouth defense on their own 22. On the attack, continuing to come are the Harvard Crimson. Reese Morgan, Vins, working it across field here. A little pop up to Gilmore. Gilmore puts a little pass in. Continuing to work this same side. Ball comes back to Vins. They got runners coming around the outside. Get the ball out there. It was knocked on. Was it intentional? Not sure. Knocked back and forth. We'll see what the referee calls. He's going to say play on and give an advantage here to the Big Green. Thought there might have been an initial knock on, but referee Doe, a very accomplished referee, in a better spot than I am to call that one. Little pick and go off the side from the Big Green. Ball still alive. They have to get this one out. They're going for the pick and go game again here. At the beginning of the half, this resulted in a good penalty for them. So maybe trying to draw those high tackles there might be something they've seen as they dig and drive. Working their way forward. Tiana Padilla, so much offense, makes a big tackle there. She's in the second one for the Harvard Crimson. Continuing to come off the back here. Is there room out to that other side? They're going to go to Saban. Saban's going to launch this one downfield. It's going to roll into touch, so it's going to be a line out for the Harvard Crimson down near their own 22. Looked like it bounced in touch before it bounced out. Harvard players trying to convince the referee it didn't, but you never know.
That was a courageous kick from Saban. You saw earlier she missed directly into touch. This time finds the field of play, but she didn't have much angle there, and that was a lot of courage, and that was a big win. You see Dartmouth now playing a lot more conservative than their end. They were playing a lot of rugby in their half in the first half. You wonder if one of the messages from Coach Dowdy was, let's play less rugby in our end. Let's play it down on their side of the field.
Much more fun down there. Ball bounces over. It's going to wind up into Dartmouth hands. Players coming in and over. Is that going to be ripped away by the Crimson? Crimson player had hands in there, but it hit the ground. So it's going to come back to the Big Green. Big Green at the 22. Going to this pick and go game. I'm fascinated by this. Ball coming out from Shear. Shear gets the ball to Bulabalavu. Bulabalavu puts in a little tip there to Jordan LeBeau. LeBeau, another first-year player. Ball coming across into the hands of Cassie Deppner now. Haven't seen a ton of Deppner. Nice little pass outside there. There's room, but it's going to end up with Jordan Duncan. Jordan Duncan gets the ball away, and the Big Green on the move again. All tied up. Can they force a lead change? They were 12-0 in the first half. Now they have it tied up. Looking for the runners, sliding through. not finding the way all the way to the try line. They're at the 5-meter line, but penalty not releasing. Got herself just slightly isolated, so it's going to be a penalty here for the Crimson.
That was a big individual moment that they absolutely needed. Dartmouth are running downhill, and Harvard are struggling to meet them at the point of contact. You see them discussing the option. I see one Harvard player signaling for the scrum on their own 5-meter line. It looks like cooler heads might prevail.
Yeah, gutsy. But they're not going to find touch, but Annie Henrich's going to slip out of her hands and into touch. So it's going to be a line out for the Crimson anyway. Had a chance to keep that one alive. We will play on here. It is going to be Harvard ball just outside their 22. Look for this big green team to contest this.
So it was knocked on into touch, I believe, so they have the option of both, the line out in the scrum, and we've seen that there's a clear preference by Harvard for the scrum. It looks like they're going to take that option.
Bit safer there, the option of the scrum. Big Green has been starting to pour it on. Referee Doe does signal for that. So we're at the 5-meter. We're going to have a scrum to the Harvard Crimson. Tied up here. Just about 15 minutes gone in this second half.
This is the exact same position where Dartmouth found a lot of purchase the last time they attacked on the scrum. And you can hear and feel the Dartmouth fans understanding the gravity of this moment in the game.
Ball coming in here from the Crimson. Some early substitutions in the second half. Morgan digs that one out. Vins gets it in the middle of the field. Players wrapping around. Padilla, the setup player, gets that one wide to a streaming Mignoni. Mignoni wriggles away from the first, gets through the second, taken down around the 50. Now ahead of steam for this Crimson team. Crimson, they have their setup across the field from running that wide play, and Sophia Hilger takes that one in. They're going to work this short side. Good work from the Crimson. Again, Morgan finds a runner, looking for that space down the left. Across they come. Fiti Samanu. Big whistle from the referee. They were going to go quick. I think we may see a card here. Too many infringements against this Dartmouth team. And a Dartmouth player is going to spend 10 minutes in the bin, most likely for repeated infringements. And it's going to be an opportunity for the Crimson.
Yeah, you see the high tackle there. They've had a lot of infringements in their end, but also there was a little bit of moderate force. It was an arm flying right into the neck of the Harvard player, and safety's got to come first. But good job managing it. It wasn't a high degree of danger. Clearly met the threshold for a yellow card, but like to see that he doesn't pull out the red there.
So an opportunity for a one-player up Crimson team right now. Dartmouth, after a good period of pressure, tying up the game, is now on defense, but they've stolen that one away. Referee awards another penalty here, so it is Harvard ball. They may go quick. Fiti Samanu has ball in hand. They're going to slow this one down. We'll see what the choice is here. Chloe Headland going to put this one into touch. Last one wound up in Dartmouth's hands a little illegally, but opportunity again for the Crimson.
Yeah, the Dartmouth jumper kind of undercut the Harvard jumper. You can't jump across the channel and come down underneath the lift on the other side. That's dangerous, and that Harvard player, we're happy that she
a little
came
messy in
out
the
safe.
air, but taken down by the Crimson. The battle is on at the mall here. They're working their way towards the line. There go the Crimson. There's the try line. Can they get it over? Will it be held up? Referee Doe in a perfect place. Lead is taken again by the Harvard Crimson. It is 17-12 with a kick to come here that would extend it a full 7 points. What an answer from this Harvard team.
If I were to describe the identity of this Harvard team, they're a counter-punching team. They have so much athleticism, and you see that athleticism wins them the penalty, creates the one-player advantage, and leads to the penalty in the maul try in the corner. But I love their ability to withstand the pressure, to keep their composure, and just buy their time for that moment, for that mistake, and all of a sudden they're striking down the field because they were under the pump there. Make no mistake. and that is a try against the run of play, and that is a huge potential swing in this game. Can Dartmouth re-find the front foot?
Kick to come. Tough angle. Kick has the distance. Kick has the accuracy. It is 19-12. Harvard in the lead. About 22 minutes to go.
We're going to quickly look back on this replay of the maul. Really great job. A tight binds all across the front. You see everyone's shoulders, hips square in the direction that they want to go. That's just absolutely clinical from the Harvard Crimson.
Can't see who got awarded that.
We've got a quick comment from Alex on the sideline. Alex, what did you see there?
Well, Joe, it all turned around because of a needless penalty from Dartmouth right down on the Harvard try line. And, impatience is really a killer in this situation. They go down there trying to take the tackle, release the ball, get back on your feet, and pick up the ball well. And you guys may have seen who it was. I didn't see who it was down on field level. But she didn't really release the ball. So when she took up, she hadn't released the ball. She gave up that penalty. All you needed to do was slow down, reset that ruck. They'd win that ball. They'd probably score.
A renewed Harvard on the move here. They are at the 50. They're a player up. Fiti Samanu puts that pass up, but that slips forward. It's going to be a scrum for the Big Green. Big Green with a restart there. And you saw just that confidence rebuilding again in this Crimson team as we hit the 60-minute mark.
It was a change in body language for Harvard, all from that try. Maul tries that come from dominant scrums just have a way of lifting a team. It's a full unit getting the effort in, and you see it translating into harder carries by those Harvard forwards. Now Dartmouth have a chance to breathe, really the first chance to breathe since that penalty on the Harvard try line that Alex referenced there. Can they collect themselves here? You see Cindy Telava at the back, and maybe an option to pick and do an 8-9 move around the right side.
Ball stuck in there, big drive coming from the Crimson, but it's out. Shear gets it away to Henrich. Henrich looking for some space, gets the ball out there. Walker finds her way around. She is a talented and tough player. See how they play out this sin bin period. Points on the board to be huge for the Big Green with a player down as they come back to this right-hand side, and Saban pushes one down on the ground, winds up in Headland's hands. Headland, great boot there, puts it back downfield for Saban. Saban having a little kick tennis here, needs to keep this one in, and does so. They're at their own 22. That ball's been passed back in, so if they kick, they need to keep it in field, and they do. Ball rolls towards touch, rolls into touch. So around their own 40-meter line, it's going to be Big Green ball.
That ball goes deep into the Harvard bench, so no opportunity for Dartmouth to play quickly. Though I'm sure they'll be happy to see through this 10 minutes of being down a player.
Anytime you can get there with knocking some time off the clock, works in your favor. They want full strength back on the field. Katie Dowdy's team's referee is just going to whistle a player with limp in there and is now down, going to have to get attended to for the Big Green, limping towards that line out.
I love the physicality in this game, and you do see that attritional effect as we go on. We've seen it in both the games today. The standard, the athleticism, the skill, and the skill in the combat areas of the game is growing so rapidly, so exponentially over the last couple of years. And it's really great to see the investment in varsity women's rugby paying off in these higher levels of skill, higher levels of athleticism, and translating into higher performance in the Women's Eagles and the Pathway programs.
Absolutely. I've been lucky. I think this is about my 8th NYRA championship. I've been very lucky to call a lot of these games over the years, and it's just continued building in skill and athleticism, you said. It's a wonderful, wonderful level of rugby they're playing here, and these are the two teams currently sitting at the top.
Yeah, Harvard and Dartmouth have been there for the last 3 consecutive championships. This is the rubber match, like we referenced at the beginning of the game. Dartmouth winning in 2022, Harvard winning in 2023. There is a new big horse coming in.
So we're going to step aside while the player gets attended to here. We'll be back with the rest of this matchup after this.
We see the promises you make. Doing more than your fair share. Working twice as hard. Saving lives, changing lives. And your life's work deserves nothing less than a lifetime guarantee. You made a promise. So did we. TIAA's promise of a guaranteed retirement paycheck for life.
We're back, line out for the Big Green. They're shorthanded right now. They're down by 7. Just under 20 minutes to go in this D1 championship matchup. Referee Doe wants to make sure there's even numbers in this lineout. So calls in Pale for the Crimson. Will the Crimson contest? You'd expect them to. Little movement here, go right to the front. Good work. Ball in the hands of the Big Green. Just a little bit of lineout deception to make sure they get that one as they work the ball to that left. Looking again, that pick and go one more time. This helps burn time off the clock, but Harvard looking to hold this one up. Eventually they get themselves to the ground. Another pick off that side, nearly wriggling away and breaking free are the Big Green. Big drive backwards this time in defense from the Crimson, but a penalty offside. So opportunity here for the Dartmouth team. Expect Saban to push this one down towards the corner, try to take the line out in a little closer. And has not found touch, however. A bit of hard luck, just trying to find too much of an angle as that ball bounces over the head of a couple of players there. Pressure on. Good kick. Is it going to go directly in a touch? It indeed has. Mistake there from the Big Green. Line out around the 40 for the Harvard Crimson. Dartmouth, just a little trouble right now.
Yeah, losing composure there. Saban quickly responds with the kick towards the corner. She had, I think, 6 or 7 players back with her. Her team really hadn't had a chance to react to chase the kick for touch, which allowed her to have numbers. She might have used those in that situation. Ooh.
Vins with the ball out there and a huge hit. Looked like Mignoni. Mignoni loves to find some open space, but found a crowd of Dartmouth tacklers that time, as does Charlotte Gilmore. Gilmore into contact. Vins gets the ball a little wider. That's Maya Hilger. Coming back across, that's Ava Ferentz in at the scrum half roll now. Wearing 21 for the Big Green. Gets the ball to Vins, but the ball bounces, winds up on the ground. Did it go back? Dartmouth players trying to dive in on that one. Have stolen that one away. Referee says that was first player. You're good to go. So Taulava in the spot there. Going to go to the ground. Fiti Samanu making the tackle. Off they come to this side. Ortiz Palin. They're wrapped up ahead there in that ball. Ball comes out to Saban. Saban goes around the back into Caitlin Walker's hands. Caitlin Walker can only take that one into contact. Players trying to rip it away, but penalty for a high tackle against the Crimson this time. And Saban is going to slow this one down, push it towards the touchline, find the safety of touch this time most likely, and get a line out here for the Big Green.
That time a great nudge. She's got some real distance in her boot, just pushing it a little too much. The difference between having a line out on 10 meters out and 11 meters out, a little bit too delicious to pass up on the last time, but this time she makes sure. And this will allow a little bit of that yellow card to bleed, though as the yellow card time bleeds, so does the game clock, and Dartmouth need 2 scores.
One at least to tie. They go to the front again. That one seemed like it got thrown forward a little bit there. Assistant referee motion so we'll see what Akira Doe calls here. It's going to be a scrum to the Crimson. That ball was thrown forward there.
And we've got another replacement coming in. I believe that's Nessa McLaughlin coming in the front row. A powerful prop out of Morris, New Jersey.
Morris Rugby, a big program down in that part of the world. Crimson, Ava Ferentz to put this one in. Ava Ferentz, a sophomore from Vancouver Island, went to the Shawnigan Lake School. Gets us started again. Pale off the back. Pale Doesn't find room, finds a couple of tackles, puts in not quite the right pass, and it's kicked forward by the Dartmouth defense, but right into the hands of a Harvard player, but they're inside their 22 and have to reset. Another big tackle from the Big Green. The runners coming tight. They're going to put this one back to Headland. Headland, high hanging kick for Saban. Saban looks at her options, moves it across field there to Henrich. Henrich puts the ball to the boot. She's inside the 40. That one seems to be knocked on by that Harvard player. Referee says no, however. We're going to keep playing, and it's going to be Harvard kicking the ball in a touch. Line out coming for the Big Green. Thought that was knocked on, but referee Doe in a better spot.
The grubber through, I thought, was going to find the try zone by Dartmouth, but Maya Hilger, what a bit of skill, catches it on a line drive in the breadbasket, doesn't knock it on, and a huge pressure reliever for her team. You got to admire those little bits of skill that pop up throughout the game.
Player being attended to for the Big Green at the moment. Out of your shot on the try line. Waiting for this to get going. Referee Doe is saying we'll wait for this player to be seen, and behind the defensive line there.
This has been an attritional match of rugby. These players are giving everything. This is for the Division I championship game. It's Cindy Taulava who's getting that attention, and she is a massively impactful player as you see her soldier on and get back to her line out.
Taulava, the sophomore Lady Cavaliers in high school. Now playing up here in Hanover. They go to the front again. They're not going to go for the little trickery here. Again, miscue. Referee may have said it didn't go 5. Or they're going to restart. Maybe the referee didn't restart the game. Akira Doe. Players just eager to get going. I doubt we're going to see that move again. Now the game's back on. Line out here to the front. Go the Big Green into the sky. Take it down well. They drive a little to the left-hand side this time. Earlier in the game, Harvard really pushed them towards the touchline. This one has come to a standstill. They're going to have to do something with this. Was that player coming off sides? Referee says no. They came in directly because they were right behind where it went. Brought down to the ground, it seems, by the Big Green. Ball is theirs. A little wider. Pass a little high. Going to have to get their structure back together, will Dartmouth. But they find a little ground. Dartmouth just get those important meters. They come off to the right-hand side. Dartmouth through sheer. Get it out to the forwards. They find a little ground. Find a little more with these pick and goes. This game is working for them at the moment. Another little pick and go, 5 meters out. Big Green working their way towards the touchline. They're at the try line. Referee Doe is on the spot. Another pick. Can they get this in? Harvard will be desperate to hold this up. That one doesn't make the line. Wide they come now. Get the ball out there to Henrich. They're going to come out. It's into the hands of that outside center, Tudagavau. Haven't seen a lot of her in this game. Players coming in. Look like those Harvard players might have come off their feet, but it was just their momentum. Referee's going to play on. LeBeau. Playing a little wider are this Big Green team. Shear gets it to Taulava. Taulava had to take it down from over her head, so didn't get the head of steam that puts her generally through a couple of defenders as they come a little wider. Big runs coming in from this Dartmouth team. Dartmouth, everything to play for here. They want to keep going. Tonagavau again.
Harvard have gained about 20 meters here in defense.
Yeah, Harvard have certainly gained. Still with momentum and possession are the Big Green, but it's going to come back. It's going to be a scrum to the Big Green. Ball was just not coming.
I think that's a good pressure release for Dartmouth. You talk about having the ball on the opposition's end, but it is the hardest place to attack because the opposition can keep 15 players up in the line. They don't have to worry about the kick. It allows them to be that much more aggressive with their line speed, and you see that tackle after tackle, Harvard gaining ground. But now they'll have to defend again. Still inside their 22, and now all 8 of their forwards are tied up in the scrum, at least for the first phase.
Big green ball. The fans are screaming. They are behind their team. We're about 10.5 minutes left on the stadium clock. Could have a little bit of referee's time. Ball coming together. Sadie Shear to put this ball in. Sadie Shear, a senior, would like to go out with another victory here. They go a little wider. That ball hits the ground. Not what they want out there. And it's knocked on, so it's going to be scrum for the Harvard Crimson as we're at 10 minutes on the game clock.
The Harvard fans getting loud. That was a hugely dangerous moment. Dartmouth inches away from the Harvard try line. And now Dartmouth, it seems, is back to full strength.
Back to full strength. Some changes coming in. 10 minutes to go in the Harvard half, just outside their 22. It's going to be a Crimson put-in, so Crimson can relieve some pressure here or go for a run. We'll see what they decide to do. They certainly have the threats across that back line. Ball to back. Pale. Big pressure coming on all of a sudden from the big green. Can they draw something here? They cannot. Pale goes off to the left-hand side. Bounces off a one. Gets a little pass away. That ball slipped. Was it knocked? Referee says no. They're going to keep playing. Here come the Crimson. Drive out to the 40-meter line. Harvard making some important yardage. Big drive through the middle of the field. These forward pods connecting well. Ferentz out again to Gilmore. Penalty for the big green. Not releasing was Gilmore. Good defensive work. Shear's going to go quick. They've got runners out wide. Shear's going to hang on to it. Now get that one away, but it slips out of the hands, and it is a knock-on. Again, it's going to be a Harvard scrum.
That is unlucky. Shear had the 4v2 there. All it had to do is go to hands. Dartmouth have had two prime try-scoring opportunities now go begging here in the last 5 minutes or so. They need to connect on one of those. All it's going to take is one, and we've got a tie ball game.
We certainly could. At the speed of light that could happen, these teams have good threats. It may come down to somebody just taking this game by the scruff of the neck and making that happen. Referee is going to bring this up, wants safety. I'm sure Harvard is happy for every second that fades off the clock, works in their favor at the moment.
You've seen Harvard make the adjustment, kicking a little bit less here in the second half. Dartmouth is diffusing the high balls and creating great counterattacking opportunities. So Harvard playing a lot more ball in hand now in the last 15 minutes.
Harvard clean ball. They move that one into the middle of the field. Looking for just a straight up run is Tiana Padilla. Ball slips in behind on that connection. Straight forward, but a little line break there. Vins gets up and is able to go again. Gets up and is able to go a third time. Referee Doe thought about the whistle, but figured it was legal. Pressure coming in from Sadie Shear as the ball comes up into the hands right there of Jara Emtage Cave. Working their way to their own 40-meter line. Fiti Samanu gets that one down. The Cedar Hills, Utah native. Little pass out the back from Gilmore. We're going to go back for a penalty against the Dartmouth Big Green.
Called it for a late hit on PK Vince just a few seconds after the pass. If you're going to hit a player that doesn't have the ball, you have to pretty much be in the motion of making the tackle as the ball leaves their hands. That was not the case here.
Yeah, just a little too late. Harvard has elected for a scrum.
In the meantime, Dartmouth making a sub in the front row. Jordan LeBeau being pulled. So we will have some fresh legs at tight head for the Big Green.
Big Green needs some ball. Pale comes off the back. Finds Ferentz. Tiana Padilla finds a Dartmouth defender, but is able to keep her feet. Ferentz. Fiti Samanu. Ferentz to Vins. Vins Gilmore out the back to Hilger. They're out wide to Hedlund. They've got it to Mignoni. Mignoni, one of a number of first-year players on both of these teams, really strutting their stuff. Ball up to Carly Lehman. Lehman across the 40-meter line. Left-hand side they go. Drive coming in, putting the pressure on, but illegally so, says the referee. So it is going to be Harvard ball. They were going quick on these earlier, but right now with 5 minutes on the game clock, they're going to slow this down.
While the penalty doesn't go in Dartmouth's favor, I've really enjoyed the lift of energy Josie Harrison, the reserve tight head, has brought to the field, leading the line speed. You don't see that a ton from a prop. We'll see if she can keep that energy up for the full final 5 minutes here in the match, because if so, if you can get those impactful moments from those big-time players like your tight heads, then you can get something special going to end a game.
This time Harvard goes to the front. Harvard, it's going to be a free kick. It's going to be a free kick for Dartmouth, but referee just having a chat here.
And while we wait for the chat, we've got another quick thing. Alex, what do you got down there?
Well, guys, the last 6 NYRA Division I finals have been played at the home field of one of the teams that's playing, and the home team has won 5 of those times. The only time that didn't happen was at West Point when Dartmouth beat West Point in 2021. We may see that turnaround here tonight. 19-12 for Harvard. They would make it 2-5 for the away teams in Division I finals.
Thank you for that history, Alex. Could we see dropping from 5 to 6 to 5 from 7?
We shall see. Dartmouth has ball in hand. 3 minutes so in the game clock. Big push from the Crimson, but that ball squirts out. Maybe luckily for them. Not in time, though. It's a penalty for the Harvard Crimson. The Harvard Crimson bench is elated. The players have drawn a late penalty. 3 minutes on the game clock. So key. We'll see what the decision is here for the Crimson team. They may push it to the corner. They may take another scrum. They're taking time off the clock and intelligently working their way towards the potential of being 2024 champions.
And another scrum. That will take time to pack down. I think they took time for just about all 15 players on the field to have input in that decision. Remember, though, now the referee can hurry things up and award a free kick the other way if you're not quick enough to come to your decision.
Ava Ferentz, reserve scrum half. PK Vin just out of shot here. You might see Pale come off the back and try to keep this one tight. Referee Doe calls us together. Ball is in. It's at Pale's feet. Good drive from the Crimson, but stable scrum. PK Vins looking to go around the back. Hilger looking for runners. Hedlund scored off of that earlier in the game, but didn't hit that with the same speed as the ball comes to Vins. Vins has some runners. Gets the ball up there to Mignoni. Mignoni off her wing. Lennox London. Relatively quiet game for that tremendous player. Went in and cleaned that one up. Fiti Samanu. Back across they come. Into the hands of Sophia Hilger. Ferentz, quick ball up to Pale. Pale had to field it before she could start running. Works her way around a couple. Ferentz, Vins, middle of the field. Gilmore gets a big hit there. Dartmouth player rolls away well. They still have the ability to go out wide here. Tiana Padilla. Ball goes wide. Referee says that one was forward.
So I wonder if the referee could hear every single Dartmouth fan on our side, because we certainly have all the touchline referees here who were perhaps wishing that was a forward pass as much as anything. Big moment. A minute to go. Dartmouth have the ball. They have to go 60 meters. It all starts with impactful carries to start here. First phase. And before that, winning the ball. You can bet that Harvard is probably going to attack this scrum. Nessa McLaughlin is starting to look comfortable. Her first scrum or two wasn't quite settled, but then they get the penalty in her third scrum. and now you see the pressure come from her.
Under a minute on the game clock, too much there from Harvard. There's going to be a penalty here, and they're going to go quick. They need to keep ball in hand, but referee's going to bring them back to the mark. Player getting up a little slow for Dartmouth. See what the decision is here. Saban is coming in, so they may go to push this ball downfield and look for the line out. Going to have to win the line out first before they can attack again. 20 seconds on the stadium clock. Again, we could have a little referee's time here. We'll see how he judges it. He and his assistant referees working together for that.
It was a good 20-meter gain, but you've seen a little bit of lack of confidence until the last line out where they went to the ball and finally got that ball moving down the field. It's been such a weapon throughout the year.
Harvard steals that ball away. Harvard, we're at 80 minutes on the stadium clock. We're in referees' time. They could be the 2024 champions. I'm sure they're going to confer with the referee and see what kind of time is there. They're going to burn it off the clock like a 2-minute drill. They're pushing this one in a touch through Chloe Hedlund. Chloe Hedlund puts that one in touch. Referee Akira Doe whistles us for the end of that one. And winning at the away field, the Harvard Crimson are your 2024 National Intercollegiate Rugby Association Division I champions. Joey Erasmus, what a matchup, tense all the way through. Give us some thoughts.
Yeah, well, it had all the tension and drama of a test match. It was a real arm wrestle. The confetti cannons are going in front of us. We talked about the history of not many teams that are not hosting the NYRA Championship end up winning it. But how often do we actually see the 2 seed coming in and winning it? It just shows how much more parity is in this women's collegiate game through the investment by the schools, through the investment and growth of the high school girls game and the quality of talent coming in. And you see well-deserved celebrations by the Harvard Crimson.
Congratulations to Harvard. Dartmouth, a great game. We're just going to step aside for a minute and come back with the MVP and the awards in this, so stay with us. We'll be right back.
As a trusted choice agency, the Richards Group has been committed to local communities for decades. We take the time to get to know our clients, their needs, and budget. We're independent, so we work for you, not an insurance company.
We use our expertise to design home, auto, and business coverage solutions at a competitive price.
In addition, our team provides consulting for employee benefits, human resources, retirement plans, and wealth management.
The Richards Group, protecting what you value most.
We see the promises you make. Doing more than your fair share. Working twice as hard. Saving lives, changing lives. And your life's work deserves nothing less than a lifetime guarantee. You made a promise. So did we. TIAA's promise of a guaranteed retirement paycheck for life is a promise that pays off.
You just sit there all day, doing nothing, adding nothing.
Are you even listening to me right now?
It's like we don't even want the same things anymore.
Growth and expansion isn't going to pay for itself.
I think we need to see someone.
We need you for all of this.
Want to get more out of your money? Then make the move to Ledyard Bank, where you'll find a true banking partner that always puts your financial well-being first.
I feel like we've made real progress here.
Ledyard Bank. Advisors, partners, neighbors.
Growing your business isn't just one thing, it's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local CAP dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done, day after day. For a limited time at Milton Cat, get 0% for 60 months on select new Cat compact equipment.
Welcome back to to Burnham Field. Had the wrong place, but it's Harvard plays at Mignone Field and has won the 2024 championship. What a game. John Broker with Joe Erasmus. Joe, we're going to go down to Alex Goff in just a second. He's a Robert Frost of rugby when he's up here. And we're going to shoot down to Alex now.
All right, guys, I am here with Tiana Padilla, center for Harvard. And, wow, what a battle. How tough was that?
No, there's so much running through my mind right now. That was back and forth, just as it was in season. And we just came out on top. And I give a lot of props to Dartmouth, but we came in with that. I think we worked really hard for that one.
They put you under a lot of pressure early, and you weathered that. and then you go and score 2 quick tries. How important was it to weather that early pressure and come out with no points against you?
No, I mean, it's something that we're practicing all season. We had a lot of grit that we got from these games that we had tough competitions with, and so that just showed here on the field.
And then finally, it's on a knife edge the whole time, right? They could score, they could tie it up. Yeah. What did you guys say to each other just to keep going and maintain that lead?
Well, there was never a doubt in our minds. There was nothing much to say. It was just, let's just get the ball and do what we do best. So, wasn't much to do.
All right, congratulations. Go celebrate.
Thank you.
Nice job. Back to you guys.
That is your MVP for this year's 2024 championship. Tiana Padilla talking to Alex Goff. Teams are going to come over for the trophy presentations, the award presentations. Joe, what was the difference in that for you?
In a word, composure. In the second half, you saw 2 really high-quality opportunities to score a try there in the final 15 minutes for Dartmouth. And you might point to those, but there were plenty of opportunities under the high ball in the first half and playing maybe a little bit too much rugby in their half in the first half as well. And a little bit more composure, a little bit better decision-making in those situations could have given this game to Dartmouth. This is a very talented Dartmouth team, a very dangerous Dartmouth team. And, in the big moments, Harvard came through. Both of these teams have been in this situation before. Both of these teams have players who have played in big games, both with Dartmouth and Harvard and also with their junior national teams. But this is something they'll learn from. This is a massive experience. Both of these programs have been instrumental in building the USA pathway. And so these experiences are going to pay off. This is not the end of the journey for these young women.
And for me, I just think that composure, and I think the sting of that last-second loss against Dartmouth in the season really fueled that Harvard team. You could see at points it just, it's that mental thing of not again, right? We're gonna win this one. This is going to be our day, and that composure and that intelligence did it. Both these teams, however, a lot of first-year players, good players in both teams, so they're not going anywhere, these two teams. Anytime you see a Harvard-Dartmouth game, it's going to be similar to this. It's going to be a great game.
Well, I look at both these rosters, and there's a good mix of players from all years, and that's why these teams are perennial powerhouses, because they have underclassmen who are contributing major minutes in learning, and they also have upperclassmen who bring the skill and the knowledge.
So we're going to go down to field level now for the award ceremony.
First, let me introduce Christian Bray, Senior Associate Athletic Director for Harvard University, Christine Folier, Senior Deputy Athletics Director and Chief Operating Officer of Dartmouth College, and Amy Russert, Executive Director of NYRA, who all will be presenting the awards. Next, let us recognize this year's runner-up team, Dartmouth College, coached by Katie Dowdy. I'm pleased to announce the 2024 NYRA Division I Championship Most Valuable Player, number 12, Tiana Padilla.
Well deserved for Tiana Padilla. What a player. She was immense, the junior from Fallbrook High School, from Fallbrook Girls Rugby, 2 times M.A. Sorensen Award winner. Well deserved.
Yeah, just excellent fundamentals. She does such a good job creating for all her teammates.
And finally, let us congratulate the 2024 NYRA Division I champions, Harvard University.
And Harvard University University, the Crimson are your 2024 Division I NYRA champions. What a matchup that we've become accustomed to. Before we step away, final thoughts, Joe Rasmus.
Yeah, well deserved for Harvard. We said composure, great decision-making throughout the game. They found some moments to apply the pressure to prompt those mistakes from Dartmouth. You got to give it up to Mel Dunham. They clearly came well prepared, and they found some things to exploit.
They certainly were. That's going to be it from us here. Thank you so much to Dartmouth College for hosting this wonderful event. Thank you to the teams, Dartmouth and Harvard. The competitors today were immense. Our refereeing crew, everybody at NYRA, National Intercollegiate Rugby Association, on the sprint to 40. Amy Russer, the commissioner, and everybody has done a phenomenal job today. From the broadcast crew, we have our camera crew, we have our technical crew, we have our director, producer, Ian's been fantastic. On the sideline has been Alex Goff. Joe Rasmus is with me. For Joe Rasmus, I am John Broker. We hope you enjoy the rest of your wonderful evening.